Okay, friends, you know what time it is. It's a talk show kind of episode. I'm here with Mary and Mary Beth, and when the three of us get together, you already know nothing is off limits. These conversations are real, honest, sometimes uncomfortable, and always needed. We're talking about the stuff women are thinking, but not always saying out loud. Life transition, self-care, mindset shifts, relationships, and what it actually looks like to navigate the messy middle without losing yourself. This isn't expert talk from a pedestal. This is three women having real conversations, sharing real experiences, and reminding you that you're not alone in what you are feeling and going through. So grab your coffee, take a breath, and settle in, because this episode is going to have you feel like you're sitting right here with us. Let's get into it.
Welcome to another one of our talk show episodes. I am so excited to have everybody here with me. My name is Mary Beth. I'm a coach for ADHD entrepreneurs who want support with sustainability in their businesses so that their business works for them and the life they want to build. I am passionate about helping entrepreneurs become fierce through messy action, baby steps, and growing their confidence. With me, I have the lovely Mary and Shauna. Do you ladies want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Mary Dibble. I am a wife, a mom of three, a life coach, and host of the Radiant Mom Rising podcast. And I am passionate about helping moms to reclaim their time, their energy, and their identity. I do a lot of identity and mindset work so that moms can really reconnect with themselves and really work to work on their beliefs and create the life that they dream of.
Mm.
And my name is Shauna B. I am the host of Release Your Inner Power podcast. I am a coach, a mom of three with a bonus child, and an adventure seeker. I help women with training their brain dragon to keep them from being stuck and actually start living the life by design and what they want right now, and prevent them from overthinking and burnout and making up stories to keep them stuck where they are.
I love that. Well, I feel like these episodes are always so good. So let's dive into it. One of the topics that I wanted to introduce today is kind of around like haters or naysayers or like unsolicited advice, like however you want to frame it. I think that sometimes as we start growing or as we start sharing our ideas, we can feel really discouraged or bombarded by even like the helpful advice that people give us. And so I kind of wanted to dig into that. And I guess I'll start with what got me kind of thinking on this topic, right? So in my experience, a lot of us like we have this kind of breakthrough where we're like, oh my gosh, I want to make this change in my life, or I want to try this, or I want to branch out, or I want to start this business. And then it seems like you get so much feedback from the people around you who are like, oh, like, are you sure that seems risky? Or do you really want to do that? Or think of the children, or like, whatever like the thing is. And so I wanted to dive into that. And kind of I'm hoping it will lead us to how maybe we've seen in our own experience that it's a lot of the times it's actually like not about us and it's not even really advice. It's more just like kind of projections of their own maybe fears or limiting beliefs or whatever type of thing. So, do you want to dive into like if either of you have experienced this before or kind of what your thoughts on the topic are just to kind of get us started?
Yeah.
I can start if you want. Yeah, I when I hear this, like when you're talking about the topic in the situation, I think that it's interesting because a lot of people, let me rephrase that. Some parts of the people want to give advice because they care about you and they want to like help you get to the past the pain, right? They want to help you get
Mm.
past the pain and past the problem and past the thing faster because they care about you. But a lot of times people are quick to do that instead of waiting. When you say unsolicited, it's so important because if somebody's not ready to even hear that, um, it can be offensive. Like you're meaning
Mm.
to help somebody, right? And they can almost be like, "What? Like I don't do that," or "That's not what I said," or it's almost like abrasive. It's almost like sandpaper when it's not invited.
Yeah.
Um, And I think it's because you're not truly ready to hear or receive the advice yet, because maybe you're still, I call it like completing the circuit, right? Like you're still
Mhm.
completing this processing circuit, and there is a place where you will want the advice and that, you need it. But until that person asks you, I find that it's people are either just oblivious to that piece, like knowing that it needs to be there, or just asking, like, do you want me to, can I give you advice? Or do you want me to say anything? Or
Mhm.
what do you need from me? Or whatever. They're just like, quick fix. Like everything has to be like a quick fix. I'm going to say the
Yeah.
thing that you need to do and just do the thing and then we'll be done and la la la. Well, okay, but everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's had different journeys. Everybody's had different situations. What
Mhm.
might work for you will not work for them. Like, it's just it's interesting how somebody that wants to help and it can come from a love and caring place, how it can also not be that
Mm.
without even realizing it, with just not taking a step back or just freaking pausing for a second. It doesn't have to be quick, quick, quick. You just be like, I'm just gonna give this some space for a minute because you can still talk about it in 5 minutes. It's not gonna be any different, but it's hard. It's
Right.
hard. That's a hard thing on both sides, receiving and giving it, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think it is that people go to that like quick fix right away?
I think because I'm not speaking for everybody here, but in some cases, when like if some people don't have the space or the feels or the I can't think of the words are hard right now, but like
Capacity?
for maybe yeah, capacity of like if somebody is in front of you and they're like losing it because they can't handle, like they're either embarrassed or they're upset or they're pissed or they're whatever, but it's like really big emotions about something. If somebody does not have the capacity to hold that space for them, it's making them feel some kind of way. And so
Mm.
they're going to try to fix it so both parties can feel better. That's
Yeah.
my perception of it. But also, I am a person who will let you feel your feels and I'll just sit with you. I won't say anything. I will just
Mhm.
sit there with you, let you feel your feels, be super supportive, and then, are you ready to talk about it? Because they might not even be ready to talk about it. And
That's good.
for me, that's more powerful for me to like hold them up and just not say anything and like allow the things. But I think it's because the big feels, some people are like, whoa, I don't want to feel that. No, keep that over
Mhm.
there. I don't want it. Okay, let's do this. Band-aid, band-aid, really quick because that's just too much for me,
Yeah.
is my perception of it.
That's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, I completely agree with you, Shauna, what you're saying. I mean, I feel like as a recovering fixer, as I'm still
Yeah.
working on that,
Yeah.
because I get it, and I had to when I did the work. That was one of the things I learned along my journey is that it was a part of me feeling uncomfortable
Mhm.
in my own self, and the fact that when I saw someone hurting, even especially my kids, it's like I just wanted to fix it, but I just realized the damage that was doing for the both of us, and so yeah, I mean. When it comes to people giving advice, and I see this a lot even just in motherhood,
Mm.
I see so many people talking about this, and I do want to speak to that because there are so many moms who feel like, especially if they're new moms, like the people who try to tell them how they should and shouldn't parent, and how hurtful that is and how it comes across. And it's like, I know, like you say, some people do it out of the genuineness of like, oh, well, I've been there, I've experienced this. I should, I want to share this with them, but they don't realize sometimes it comes across, like you say, if someone's not really ready to receive it or didn't ask for it, it's easier to get offended or to be kind of hurt or like, what are you trying to say that I don't got this?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so, and
Mhm.
I feel like as someone who grew up very rebellious and stubborn and hard-headed, like I was the kind of person, it's like no matter what you told me, I needed to experience it for myself. Like
Mhm.
I would eventually probably go through it and be like, you know what? Yeah, you were right. I could have saved myself a lot of suffering. But however, it just, some people are just built like that, I feel. And I think it's a matter, like you say, of just learning and practicing as becoming a life coach has helped me, for instance, and majorly in learning how to sit with feelings and not just for
Mhm.
myself, but for my clients and not just jumping to the whole, how do we resolve this? how do we get to the solution kind of thing? Even though as a coach, you like sometimes you be listening to somebody and you're just like, I know where this is coming from. Ooh, I know. Like you kind of have that inside of you of that excitement of like, I just know how to help them. But sometimes you have to be careful because I've seen where a lot of people get like upset, with coaches because we kind of are there to help you see the blind spots and be real with you. And that can be very intimidating for a lot of people. So, yeah, I definitely agree with everything you're saying, Shauna. And I can understand it in both ends because I've been on that side of like giving advice when it wasn't asked for. And I've seen the response and the reactions. And then I've also been on the opposite where people have projected onto me their fears, their things about me taking risks or me doing certain things. And it's a weird thing to navigate, I would say.
How have you navigated that? Like, how have you handled that when that happens? Like, because I'm feeling like there's probably people in our audience going through the same thing.
Yes,
So
yes. Oh,
maybe we could
yes.
share our stories.
Yeah, so for me, like I said, it's learning how to pause. It's learning how
Mhm.
to practice on a regular basis of being more mindful, being aware of catching myself. If I catch myself doing it, like instead of judging myself or being like, "Oh, screw it" or whatever, it's like reframing those times. Giving myself grace even if I screw up or whatever, but asking permission, that's a great one, Shawnee. You were talking about that, like just having
Mhm.
that sense and that practice of being like, would you like my advice?
Mhm.
Or, you want to talk about it? That's powerful. And when you're in that place of struggling with it to help you, really build that what's this really just kind of build upon having the whereabouts of having that control over yourself and how
Mhm.
you react to different situations that come up where you want to jump in and do certain things and you can kind of catch yourself and be like, oh yeah, I see that, but I'm gonna instead kind of take a moment to process that.
I do want to say, excuse me, I do want
Yeah.
to say to kind of like piggyback on that,
Yeah.
to like be okay with how you react to something. Like I want to give people permission to be
Yeah.
okay with like
Yeah.
when you start saying, oh, and like give the advice and then like maybe you're like 3 words in, you're like, they didn't ask. Like I want to give you permission to be like, oh, my bad. You didn't ask me for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like just that's it. Just straight
Yeah.
up be like, oop, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
You didn't ask me
Yep.
for advice and here I am just bulldozing you or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's okay to stop.
Yeah.
It's okay to stop and not do it. Or maybe you said the whole thing and you're like, shoot, they didn't even ask me. Then just let them talk. You can start whenever. It can be mid
Mhm.
conversation, it can be before, it can be whenever. That's how you catch yourself to rewire so you stop always trying to fix the thing.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, receiving it,
Yeah.
talk about checking yourself. So I have this lovely family member who I love dearly, and we have these deep, like we're talking in the onion layers conversations. And sometimes she'll preface it with, okay, I'm going to go there. So then I have to check myself and be like, am I ready for this or not? And
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. And she tells me, and I'm like, I am not ready. Just like, what? I don't do that. And in my head, I'm just like such a brat. I'm like, I don't do that. That's not true. La 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 la. And then I just sit on it. And I don't say anything to her. I just listen and I'm all saucy pants about it. And then I'll like sit with it and then really actually check myself. Like, why why did I get so upset about that? Like, what was going on with that? Like, where's all my sauciness coming from? Is that real? Is that whatever? And not necessarily looking for an answer right away, but just being
Mhm.
open and curious about it. A lot of times, I'd probably say 98% of the time, she's right. And I'm not either ready to see it, ready to
Mhm.
deal with it, but I have to be open and curious to it. And then eventually I'm just like,
Yeah.
touche. Like, thank you for that. But it comes to how we react to it also. Like we really need to check and sometimes it's not going to be the case. Like with her, we're very close. We know each other very, very deeply. And
Mhm.
so she can see a lot of things and I can see a lot of things where we can do that. And that takes a different level of relationship, which is amazing. But sometimes it's not for you, or maybe you're so not ready to hear it that you can't see it. That's fine. Pitch it. Because if it's for you, it's going to come back.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that.
you know?
I love that so much. I love the preface too. Like I've realized that that is super helpful for me. If somebody's like, "Okay, don't get mad," I'm like, "All right," or it's like, "Hey, can I tell you something?" Or, can I bring something up? Like just knowing like, oh, this is gonna be a rough conversation helps me like get in that mind space. Whereas if somebody just like brings something up out of the blue, I'm like, who do you think you are?
But you're really good at
So,
prefacing. You'll be like, "Can we
Yeah.
talk about blah 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 blah?"
well, I think it's because I realize like how big it is for me, and so thank you. I try to do that because I'm like, I need that because I'm pretty reactive. And I tend to get like super defensive with unsolicited advice, so that's part of like why I love this conversation so much. But I also love like what you both brought up, like the like just pausing and kind of letting it sink in, I think is super powerful because what I've realized in hindsight is a lot of the time like that person's not wrong. I just like wasn't ready for it. And I think also sometimes too, like I don't know if it's like a neurodivergence thing or just like a life thing, right? It's like I don't have like the capacity to be doing all the things I could be doing, right? Like there's so many great ideas out there. There's so much good advice. There's so many things that I could be doing differently to like optimize, optimize, optimize. But like I'm not gonna do that because like I don't have it in me. So I like, especially with my mentality of like minimalism and like, do the bare minimum and everything else is icing on top. Like most people don't think that way, especially not in like entrepreneur groups, right? There's a lot of like go-getters and people who want to do like all the things, and I'm like, I'm too old for that. I'm so tired. So it's like a different mindset.
Yeah.
But I love the things that you guys are bringing up of like taking the pause and like instead of reacting defensively, which is what I want to do, taking a minute. And I also love how you mentioned like you don't have to say anything right then. And that's been really powerful for me too, is I've like in the past I felt like, oh, I need to explain why I'm not doing this, or I need to explain or make them understand like why I can't add that to my plate right now. And it's like you don't have to actually. Like you can just hear them out and like take that note and then take some time to consider it down the road, which I think is important with advice and feedback anyway, right? Is like take some time to think about it and be like, okay, does this actually apply? Is there truth here? Or like, was it maybe a projection on their part? Like, what do I want to take to heart? What do I want to let go? And then, either circling back and responding at some point in the future or just like, if you
Yeah.
don't need to get back to them, like, don't. But also one quote I love, and it was like, I think I saw it on Instagram and Robert Downey Jr. was credited, so I don't know if it's accurate or not, but it was something to the effect of like, if somebody's like telling you what to do, like you just smile and nod and then do what you're gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
And I love that so much because I'm like, I don't want to belittle that person or dismiss them, which is what my defensive reaction does.
Yes.
So I'll listen and help them, like, make them feel heard if I can, and like take that criticism or advice to my journal or whatever and see if there's anything I can actually glean from it. And then if not, I'm gonna just keep doing what I was doing anyway. Like, you don't have to rearrange your whole life based on somebody's input.
Yeah.
That's
That's really powerful.
interesting. That's interesting though, because there are some people out there that are like, if I'm telling you to do this, why aren't you doing it? Like they get offended if you don't do what they advise you to
That's
do.
how I was raised. That's why I have that mindset, Shauna.
Right. But I think that's like I do think that's an older generation thing. Like if you get advice, you're supposed to just take it and run with it
Mhm.
and not, like not like you said, sit with it for a minute, decide, am I taking this or am I not taking this? Is this for me or is this not for me? And I think that that's super important because this is going to kind of sound callous, but it's a boundary. If somebody tells you their advice and they get upset because you're not taking it, that's their shit.
Yeah.
That is not yours because you are, the captain of your ship or whatever, however you want to say it. Like you are the person that knows you the best, what works for you. You have been in your shoes your entire life and know all the things, and you're the only one that can decide what is best for you. Now,
So good.
maybe only parts of their advice work for you, but not the whole thing. Or maybe the whole thing isn't for right now and it's like you mull on it and it might come later, whatever that is. But
Mhm.
if they get upset about it, that's on them because you have to decide how you're going to live doing or not doing that advice because you are in your life, right? And so I think it's hard because some people are like, I don't want to disappoint them, so maybe I should do the thing and oh blah, 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 whatever. And it goes back to the people pleasing thing, right?
I was
And
gonna
so
say, yeah.
it's like, who is
Hmm.
this for? Is this mine? Is this for me?
Absolutely.
Really, really digesting that and being really real with yourself, and it's gonna be okay. Like if they get upset about it, okay, let them complete their circuit and move
Yeah.
on to something else.
Yeah.
Love that.
I know we tend to carry too much of other people's stuff on us, and it's like, no. And I mean, even just you talking about that makes me think about the belief work that I teach. It's like,
Mm,
even with our own beliefs about things, anything, it's like just having that question of like, is this true? Is this what I want to believe? Is this, where did this come from? Like things like that are so powerful too in helping you to decide like, is this right for me? Is this
mhm.
not? Do I really want to make a decision from this place or not? So yeah, I think that's awesome. And even just haters, like people who can be critical about things, I think that's another area of this that I feel like we could still talk about if you want to move there. But it just makes me think about it because, like you say, you have these people who give you their advice or their feedback, and then you have these people who also tend to judge or say things, and it's like
Mm,
how to kind of handle that per se is
mm.
yeah. That's a whole nother thing. I'm sorry, but it just makes me think.
Oh,
I see how it aligns it within us working on that of how can we receive things? How can we see what's right for us, what's not right for us? Because with certain things like that, it's like misery loves company. So there's people out there too who they're not willing to do what you're doing. So they're
mhm,
going to try to bring you down. That's like
mhm.
because they want you on their level, not going above them because they feel threatened by it. And that's something too to watch for.
Yeah, I think that's so good. And let's get into it, right? Did you have anything else you wanted to add, like about haters and handling those types of situations?
Yeah, I see it so much, yeah, with obviously, especially as you get bigger and more successful, things like that. There's always going to be those
Mhm,
people who will try to bring you down or critique you in certain ways. And there's a difference between getting feedback and then having
mhm,
those people who just really want to spin things in a negative way. And I definitely feel like that is something that I want people to be prepared for because I've seen it really destroy people. Like, and because we tend to take things so personally, and you have these dreams, you have this goal, and you shouldn't ever have anyone make you feel bad for going
mhm.
after it, for doing it, just because they don't agree with the way you're going about it. And
That's good.
I feel like that's a very big thing for anyone listening because most people who are listening are most likely in having their own business. And I just want you to know like that's most likely going to happen. But sometimes that's a good thing. That's a good sign that you're hitting buttons on people, which means you're moving in the right way too. So you could look at it that way as well.
That's good. I love that.
Yeah.
Man, haters and judgment and all the juiciness of that.
Leave it to
I
us to get
know.
into the juiciness, you know?
Man, I guess how I look at it is we're human, so we're going to be judgmental. That's just part of our makeup. It's what we do with it and how we do it and how we check ourselves, right? Is how we choose to live with it. So we could choose to just be judgmental and be like, throwing comments out and saying all kinds of things and telling people stuff and, all of that. You can do that. Or you can, I mean, or you can just think about it like, why am I being judgmental here? And like actually come back to yourself
Mm,
and think about it. But what are you getting out of judging somebody else? It's a whole thing. Like I worked with a shaman for an entire year on judgment, an entire year. And it blew my mind how quick. I mean, we're talking like you look at somebody or you already have a story. You already have who they are, what they, all the things just by looking at them. And so you have to really check yourself on being like open to who they are and what they're doing and like that has nothing to do with me and
mm,
like back off. It's almost like you judge and then you're like, "Wait, hold on," and you
mhm.
have to like pull it back. But I mean, it took a lot of work and am I judgmental free? No, because that's not reality. Like we're humans. We're gonna just do that. That's part of what makes us who we are. It's how we take that information and what we do with it is what makes us a good person or not a good person. Honestly,
No,
Yeah.
truly.
you know, I mean, it's like learning to allow people to be their own person and who they are. That has nothing to do with you. Like I'll
Hmm.
never forget, I did a YouTube video about when I got divorced, like what I was mentally going through and how I knew it was time and what I needed for my children and for everyone, even my ex-husband, for us to be better. And I got
Hmm.
so many hate comments. So many hate comments about me just getting a divorce, period. Like they
Yeah.
didn't know my
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
They didn't know what happened. Like they have zero, I know, they have zero idea of all the things that
Uh,
I endured. Okay.
Yeah.
And they just, oh, you took the easy way out. It's
Oh,
like,
wow. Yeah.
so, like, what do you do with those? Like, do you take them to heart? No. Do I know this person? Have I seen them? Do they know anything about me? No, they don't. So, does it really matter what they say? No. Clearly, they feel some type of way about it. Fine, you go
hmm.
feel your type of way
Hmm.
because I'm still divorced and I'm still doing me and I'm still
Hmm.
doing the things because that's what was best for me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it can get into your head when people say stuff like that. But if you practice like being sure of your decisions and yourself, someone that you don't even know,
Mhm.
Daisy 364
Yes.
says whatever,
With no
like
profile picture.
correct. Like
I
it's like
know.
whatever. What I did do, what I did really like though, is that there was some freaking angel out there somewhere that was like blasting all these hater comments. Like, you don't even
What a
know
babe.
her. Why are you
What a
saying
babe.
like, and I don't know this person either.
Yeah.
She was just like so upset and like going off about onto them. And I
You've
like
probably been in a
personally,
similar situation.
probably, and I personally sent her a message because I was like, I don't even know you. And you did like, that was awesome. Like, thank you for that,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But just, like to be mindful of just because they say it doesn't mean it's truth. Like, or,
Yeah.
you don't even know this person. Even if it is somebody that you know and they say
Hmm.
something to you, again, there's the unsolicited judgment and advice or whatever. But like haters, for whatever reason, that whole thing is just confusing to me because I would never want to make somebody feel like shit.
I know. Well, that's why
Like,
you're a good person. I mean, you just are. So,
I'm not going to judge somebody I'm not going to judge somebody for anything that they're doing. Like if they're getting a divorce or if they're whatever. I mean, pick a freaking situation. Like
Hmm.
who am I to say what they cannot do, what's right, what like who the fuck am I?
yeah.
And so when people do that kind of stuff, it always blows me away. I'm always like, why do you feel the need to do that? Why do you feel the need to hurt someone else or bring somebody else down? Like, what are you gaining from that? Hurting
Yeah.
someone else. Like that doesn't
Hmm.
make sense to me.
Yeah. I find that to be a very sad existence, those who like really have nothing better to do than to go and try to bring others down, But I just find that very sad too. Because I love, and this is where, right here too, it's like I love who I've worked on my own journey as far as who I'm surrounding myself with, because
Hmm.
that I find to be so powerful and important that we underestimate,
Hmm.
on this journey. But who you hang around, you will become. And so if you're hanging around wrong people who are constantly like criticizing or putting you down or not really
Hmm.
uplifting and supporting you, like, or maybe even just not driven like you are,
Hmm.
And there's, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a difference between having like sometimes friend groups who are just people like who relate to you in life, and then there's people like if you're on an entrepreneurial journey, like you want to
Hmm.
surround yourself with those kind of people who are doing the things you're doing so they really relate and understand and can truly be that support for you as you grow. So I feel like in all of these things with people who just go out of their way though to like bring others down or to be all about themselves and hurt people. I mean, hurt people hurt people. That's what my husband always says. Like, and that's so true. I mean, that's why I said it's such a sad existence. It kind of breaks my heart for them because it makes you think, like, how awful is your life that you
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
in that position to like judge and to be like that? Because like you say, everyone judges. So even they'll say Okay, let's just say you have a judgment against somebody in your mind. Well, keep
Mhm.
it there. No one said
Yeah,
you got to
truly.
share it. I mean,
For real. Yeah.
you
Put it
can
in
sit
your
there
journal
not.
if you have
Yeah,
to.
exactly. You can agree, I mean, with anything, religion, politics, all that crap. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we all have our opinions about things, but you don't have to always rudely voice it. Like I think that's the thing that creates that division is everybody feeling like everyone's got to agree with them. Everyone's got to see their perspective. And it's like, no, we're all literally coming out of our own experiences and our own visions of things. And that means we're all going to, even if it's the exact same thing happening right now in this room, we're each going to have a different
Mhm.
perspective and a different reality of what it means to us. And so I think the more we allow ourselves to accept that, be
Mhm.
normalize that and understand that, it helps us to just accept each other and ourselves, especially for who we are and what we're choosing to do. So I just, anyways, that was my little my little two
Love
cent on
it. Love it.
that.
I love how you're talking about how powerful it is, like who you have in your life too. Because I think that ties into a lot of the things that we're bringing up, right? Is like if you have people in your life where being an entrepreneur is like completely out of left field to them and like they think it's risky and scary and nobody's actually making money off it or like you're gonna ruin your life or whatever, even if it comes from a good place, right? Working through those things and like working through, okay, that's not for me. I'm going to set that down. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing anyway. And then you get another piece of like random unsolicited advice. You're like, okay, is any of this for me? No. Okay, I'm going to that takes so much time and energy. And I think that there are some relationships that are worth doing that with. Maybe you have like a grandparent or whatever, and like they just don't get it. It's like, we don't do pensions anymore, so thank you. Like that might be worth like working it through, right? But like you were saying, you can also have different groups for family, friends, and then like maybe entrepreneur peers, right? Because I think it's so powerful to realize that we can have like a different norm around us. I mean, we're talking about like people bringing people down. It reminds me of the crabs in the bucket analogy, right? Where all the crabs are in the bucket and one tries to climb out and then they all pull him down
Yeah.
instead of like, doing like a mud run where everybody helps each other over or whatever. And I think that is kind of the shift that we're looking for in like peer groups and like stuff like this, right? Where we're trying to come together and we're sharing our thoughts and our experiences that are maybe outside of the cultural norm or the corporate norm or like whatever norm we're like moving away from and creating a new norm where it's like, yeah, in our bucket, we're pulling each other out, like getting over the edge.
Mhm.
And it's just so empowering to build that like new normal and surrounding yourself with people who are doing the same types of things. And then I think like as I found out, like the advice tends to be a little bit more spot on. Like the stories resonate a little more. You're like, oh, these are my people like actually going through similar type of things instead of someone who's worried about me wasting my time or go having a failed business but who really has no idea like what my day-to-day life like actually looks like. So I love that you brought that up. Shauna, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. I just think that we just need to be really mindful of our judgments on others and then, not necessarily because that's a whole nother rabbit hole, right? Like you could be a person that is like trying to figure out what that person's thinking and what their judgment is and blah blah blah. Like you could go down that rabbit hole and then that's comparison and all the things. But like if you just check yourself and if you find yourself like judging somebody by looking at them or, like just check yourself for a second, be like, why am I doing that?
Mm,
Like if you don't want people to do that to you, you got to check your shit. You got to check yourself and be like, I need to not, I need more information here.
good.
Yeah.
I need
That's
more
saying,
information here because that person could be, I'll use myself as an example. Me walking around in everyday life, I have an RBF like no other. There's people that are afraid to talk to me. Okay. And even my kids' friends, they're like, your mom is scary, which I kind of like, but
And I was like, I call that a superpower personally.
I like that part of it. But just like in general, like going to the store or going out in public, and just like being whatever, my face does not show who I am. Like my face is this like this tough, like no BS, which I am that, but I'm very nice. But my face doesn't
Sure,
look
she
like
is.
it. And so if you see me at first, you might be like, I'm not talking to her. She looks scary. She looks mean. She's like, like my whole life, even when I was a little kid, people were like, oh, I totally thought you were a bee. And then I started talking to you and you're actually so nice. And I'm just like, oh, great face. Thanks a lot. So, you know what I mean? Like, you never know what's under the shell. You never know what's under the cover. You never know, there's more to the book. There's more there. And so instead of just looking or one interaction, you have zero idea about anything else. So just take a step back and be like, I might need more information here. And I'm not just going to judge somebody by like that. Like, don't be so quick with it, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah, don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, that's
Hmm.
exactly because you're so right. I feel the same way. I've always had people tell me that I was intimidating, which is why I think I smile a lot now because I want people to see like I'm
Right.
not,
Yeah.
but it's true like how easily it is to just judge something by the looks or first impression sometimes even because you never know. I just want people listening to think about this with people too. It's like you don't know what a person is going through internally or in their life. So sometimes the way you treat them could be everything they need when it
Mm.
comes to like showing kindness and smiling, saying hi, making them feel seen, heard, like could be so much more powerful than those who, I mean, because I have been through like bullying before, not just growing up, but even in a workplace.
Mm.
And let me tell you, like that is one of the hardest things I think to have to go through because it's like, especially when you're a good person, you have a good heart, and it's like
Mm.
for people to just be so cruel for no reason, like just to be so cruel because I don't know if they're miserable in their life or what they're going through, but it's like the way that that too can impact a person and their mental health, like it's a serious thing sometimes too. So I just want to say, like it's like I said, like Shauna was saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Like really get more data or whatever. And even so, like sometimes keep your opinions to yourself or just show an act of kindness too. God, we need more kindness in this world. I think if people just
Seriously.
don't realize the power of just a simple just thinking about somebody, even if it's just a matter of reaching out to someone you haven't reached out to for a while, don't feel guilty for it. Don't feel bad. Like, don't be like, oh, it's been so long since I reached out to them. How weird is it going to look? If I do it now, like someone comes on your heart. I mean, that happens to me sometimes where somebody will pop in my head or pop in my heart or just be on my heart.
Mm.
And I'm like, I know it's been a while, but you know what? Let me take the initiative of just reaching out and let them know I'm thinking about them. And I could just,
Mm.
and there's been times I've get responses of like, wow, oh my God, it's so great to hear from you. Like I needed that today. So just food for thought.
That's so good. I love that so
Yeah.
much. Amazing. I love how we had like a kind of negative downer topic, and you just made it so uplifting and powerful. I love you ladies. So amazing. Um, let's see. So, yeah, I don't think I really have anything else that like doesn't take us down like some negative rabbit holes. So let's stay on this positive note. Let's move into kind of like wrapping up with some advice or insight if you like what is something that you would want to tell somebody who is dealing with maybe they're gaining popularity on social media and they're getting a bunch of hate comments, or they're just starting their business and or maybe just having a baby and they're dealing with just tons of unsolicited advice or like whatever that is. What what insight or advice would you want to give someone who's dealing with that and how to like move through?
For me, I would say work on your inner peace, your inner
Mm.
security in yourself and belief in yourself, because at the end of the day, we have no control over people and what they're going to do, what they're going to say, but we do have control over ourselves and
Mm.
what we choose to receive or not receive. And that's very powerful. So if you have insecurities, which a lot of us do, let's be real,
Yeah.
I would say that's the support that you need to look for in helping you through that work because there's nothing more powerful than feeling grounded and
Mm.
sure in who you are and where you're going and why you're doing what you're doing to help. drown out all the noise that comes with that. So that's what I would say to you.
Mhm.
I'm going to use the B word. We're going to talk about boundaries for a minute. So, if you are starting, if you're like an entrepreneur and you're starting to get comments and people are starting to say things or whatever, what has helped me in the past is when you start reading it and it starts being that hater and that mean, you be like, "Oh, this isn't for me," and delete it. Don't even finish it. If you start reading it and it is not kind or nice, be like, "Oh, that's not mine," because it's theirs, and then delete it and you're done with it because their opinion is their business. It's not yours. And so that is going to put up walls of like building you up. That's like choosing you over them by making that boundary. For advice from people like maybe it's your coworkers or maybe it's your friends or maybe it's, like or you are having a new baby and there's all these advice on what you're supposed to do, you know. I like the listening and like you don't have to comment on it. You can just listen to it and then you decide what you're going to do with it if you're going to pitch it or not pitch it, as long as the delivery and the receiving is in like a kind way. And like if there's not like an interaction that's like not great, is probably the best thing that I could say as far as like, boundaries. So if you're having a new baby and somebody's just plowing you with all this stuff, maybe you just wait a little bit longer before you see them next time because you know they're going to keep giving you all the things. Like that's a boundary you can put up, not like not see them anymore, but just like back off a little bit until the advice, as the kid gets older, the advice lessens. For whatever reason in this society, when you're pregnant or when you just have a baby, it's like all the things come out and you're just like, oh, that's
It's
delightful,
because nobody knows what to do with teenagers.
Right.
Everybody's like,
I mean, in reality, there's a lot of books out there on how to parent, but every kid is different. There's no book for your kid.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out. It's a wild ride. But like I don't know. I guess, just have boundaries around what makes you comfortable. Like if you already know that this person's going to be doing all this stuff, all this advice and whatever, and it's going to get overwhelming, then you put your boundary up to like lessen the time right now. It's not forever, but right now, maybe not, it might not be it because you just don't have the capacity or the bandwidth to deal with it because you
Mhm.
might not react in a kind way.
Mm.
But it's also okay. It's also okay for you to be busy. It's also okay for you to take care of yourself. You need to look to you first and not self-sacrifice first, which is a huge thing. That's a hard one
Yeah.
for many. But, if you're self-sacrificing, there's not enough boundary there. That would be my advice.
That's really good. I love that reminder too that like we're not required to have the capacity to like take on everybody's feedback. Like
Hmm.
it's okay to just not have capacity for that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love everything you said. I think super helpful, both of you. I love what you were talking about, Mary, with being grounded. And I think that's so important is like know what you're doing or like what you want or what you're working towards right now. Like the stronger your conviction is, the easier it is to stick on your path and to not get pulled side to side with what everybody else is saying. So I would encourage us to like dig into what we're doing, why we're doing it, and that conviction so that you have that confidence in yourself that like this is my path, like this is for me. And that helps kind of make your voice louder than the other people in my experience. And then also just a reminder that like the other people don't have to live with the consequences of your actions. So, even if they're offended that you're not taking their advice or whatever it is, like they don't have to live with those consequences. Like you were saying, Mary, like sometimes people give you advice and it's like, well, they weren't wrong, but I still had to like do it my way.
Yeah.
And you probably learned additional things, right, from
Mhm.
that, mistake and not listening to them. And like maybe you could have taken a shortcut, right? But maybe you took the scenic route instead and you picked up some things along the way, like
That's
during
true.
that mistake.
Yeah.
Um, and then also like you you would be the one who would have to live with the consequences of their advice too. And so like it goes both ways,
Yeah.
like and that ties into like the last thing I want to say is you don't, I want to encourage you to not take advice from people who like you don't want to be like. If you, what's the saying? Like, don't take criticism from someone that you wouldn't take. Maybe it's don't take criticism from somebody you wouldn't take advice from. So never mind. I just made that super circular. But yeah, like if they're not in a place that you want to be, then maybe consider that when you're thinking about whether or not you should take their advice to heart. So
I mean, like, for example, like people that have been married for 10 years are going to give you dating advice.
yeah.
Things like that. You mean like that? Where
Like,
it's
when's the
not
last
even
time
in
you've
the
been
same
honest?
book.
Or yeah, or
Or
even
like,
like people who aren't parents who give parental advice. I see that,
yeah,
get that sometimes too. I've
yeah,
seen that. Yep.
yeah. People in corporate giving you entrepreneur advice, like, okay,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
okay, lived experience.
Yeah. Excuse me.
People in unhappy marriages giving you marriage advice.
Oh, oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah, just some thoughts.
Just
Just
throwing a
some
little bit out
thoughts.
there.
Just think about it. Yeah.
Not that that's like a
Look at
triggering
us.
topic.
I know, right? Look at us.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love you guys so much. Let's wrap up with where people can find you.
For
Go ahead,
me,
Mary.
they could find, okay, so for me, you can find me all over on Instagram. You can find me marydibblecoaching.com or check out my podcast, Radiant Mom Rising, anywhere you listen to. But yeah, just come find me, Mary D Coaching. Sign up for one of my free calls. Let's get to know each other and let me support you in any way that I can. But I always love to hear from my listeners. So comment, tell us like what your thoughts are. Tell us how this landed for you, what resonated with you.
Yeah,
Just we love to hear from you guys. So
we do.
yeah, that's where you can find me.
Thank you.
You can find me at igniteddecisions.com on socials under Ignited Decisions, and Release Your Inner Power podcast is where you can find all the things.
Love it. I am at the Fierce Framework on socials, and that's my podcast name as well. So thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to see you next time.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, learned something new, or got some gems to take away that will boost your week. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to click that follow button to not miss what is coming next. If you love the show or want to share a story, send me a quick message. I love hearing from listeners. If you know someone who needs this episode in their life, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. If you are looking to connect more, check out the show notes for all the social links, my website. I would love to hear how this episode helped you and what you loved about it. If there's a topic you want to hear about, send that too. All right, ladies, now is the time to release your inner power.